Hi guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Aki and I'm a hotel management student from PolyU, the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. And for today's video, I'm going to continue talking about two other components of the GUR subjects, which are freshman seminar and the leadership component of GUR, your general university requirements. I don't know why I did that. And if you have no idea what the GUR subjects are, I made a video about this, so do check that out so that you...
There aren't any videos capsules available.
So I made a video about GUR subjects, so do check that out. And so let's just get right to it. Freshman seminar. Freshman seminar can be both useful and least important at the same time, because this class is basically a class to teach you how to transit from secondary school to your tertiary education in PolyU. A lot of the things that you learn in this class, it's like common sense, but it's also like, I didn't know that freshman seminar in every department is different. They have a syllabus for this. You can actually check that in the GUR website, which I will link down below in the description box below. I said below twice, but that's okay. So other than your transition from like secondary school to your undergraduate time in PolyU, it's also to educate you on your career path, that you understand more about your degree and what are some services that PolyU provide. And that could actually be very useful for you, but also it can feel a bit boring. Just letting it out there. But then again, don't let my opinions affect your thoughts towards this class 100%, because this is my personal opinion. It could differ for everyone. So don't say Aki said it's boring and then you're not attending, but it could be useful for you and then you waste an opportunity. So just saying. It can get boring and it also can be a bit confusing because it wouldn't really feel like a class. When I had freshman seminar and SHTM, it literally felt like a conference, because every week you're having people coming into your class and give you talks about the industry that you're in or the career paths that you can take with your degree, things like that. Honestly, this is very useful stuff if you have no idea what to do with your degree. They also taught email etiquette, which is something you don't really do much in secondary school, and also how to dress up for certain events, because I'm a hotel management student, so there's a lot of presentations or a lot of events that we will have to attend and we have to dress up, but sometimes we just don't know how to dress up for these events. In freshman seminar, they'll actually teach you this. I think it really depends on every department, but for us in SHTM, that's what we were taught. This class is a very chill class, and this is a time where you can actually meet new friends in your department, be more interactive with the people in your department, in your cohort. So if you're looking for friends, take this opportunity, this class, to make new friends. I don't know if every freshman seminar will actually have a field trip planned for you, but for us, we had a field trip to go, which was pretty cool. I saw this as an opportunity to just relax and have fun, because the time this field trip was set was before all of the stressful time of the first semester. So we had a field trip to Lama, and the purpose of it was to actually learn about yourself and go through some team building activities. Did we really learn that? Kind of, but also like, because we have an essay that we have to write towards the end of this class about ourselves and like the career paths that we want to do, and like kind of understand our strengths and our weaknesses. So that was what this field trip was for. It's kind of like a mandatory field trip, because it's either you go for the field trip or you have to write an essay. And honestly, who would want to choose to do an essay instead of having fun? I mean, we went stand-up paddling, kayaking. It's like a perfect opportunity to go and have a bit of fun and kind of explore Hong Kong a bit with friends. And it was one of the best things that happened in freshman seminar. Another important part of freshman seminar is that you have to complete this thing called academic integrity. And it's a quiz, lesson, self-learning lecture thing that you kind of have to do on Blackboard. This is one of the most important part of freshman seminar. If you want to flunk everything for a freshman seminar, by all means, but this is the most important part of freshman seminar. You cannot fail academic integrity, because if you fail that, you won't be able to pass this class. And if you don't pass freshman seminar, you won't be able to graduate. Simple as that. So what it is that, just as the name says, academic integrity is literally teaching you how to show integrity in your academic work. You will most likely get a pamphlet for this. If you ever get it before you get into that class, don't throw it away. Throw it away after you're done with academic integrity, because it's going to help you a lot in the quiz that you have to take for this section of freshman seminar. And another thing is participation plays a role in your grades. Do attend freshman seminar, because there is this thing called participation marks. These are free marks. If you don't attend, this part of your grade gets affected. If you're someone who cares about your grades and your GPA, take this opportunity to attend attend the classes. They are free marks for you. But if you're someone who cannot be bothered, less about it, do whatever. But just pass academic integrity. That is my biggest tip for you. But guess what? Students who applied through advanced standing to PolyU, you guys are so lucky, because you guys don't need to take freshman seminar. You guys are exempted from taking it, which is a true blessing, because you don't need to spend so much of time on this class, and you can actually take this time to register for other classes which are more important. And I know so many of my friends who did advanced standing, and because of that they just had like lesser workload and they could focus more on like the other core subjects in the later semesters. But the only sad thing about this class is that you won't be able to attend the field trip, which was a bummer to a lot of us, because I had a group of friends who, like, some of them did advanced standing, some of them didn't. Most of us didn't, but those who took advanced standing, they couldn't join, which was kind of sad, knowing that they're not attending, and also hearing that, oh, everyone had fun but they can't take part in it. But that's the only thing, and honestly it's just a tiny reason that you should be sad for not attending freshman seminar. Other things, you're fine, you're not really missing out. So next up is the leadership and interpersonal component of the GUR subject. So from the name of this class, we know that So just by the name of this component of the GUR subject, we know that PolyU is using this to equip their students to become better leaders. But really, are these classes that useful, that efficient, that effective? That is for you to decide. So there are 2 classes that fulfills this component in PolyU. But it really depends on your department. Most departments usually give you a choice to choose either Tomorrow's Leaders or Tango, but some classes only gives you one choice. So I know that for A&F, Accounting and Finance, you have no choice but to take Tango. Then you may be thinking, oh snap, I don't have freedom of choice. Why is that? Why? I really don't know. You really have to ask your department, because I'm not from A&F. But based on my opinion, I think that you guys are lucky that you have no choice but Tango instead of Tomorrow's Leaders, because I took Tango, and based on my experience, I think that Tango is the better leadership class option than Tomorrow's Leaders. But like I said earlier, I'm not here to persuade you to take Tango or say that Tango is any way better than Tomorrow's Leaders. It's really up to you to decide about that. But for me, based on my opinion, I think that Tango is a better choice for me, and maybe a better option for you. For these leadership classes, you are usually pre-registered to Tomorrow's Leaders and not Tango. So that's what happened to me as an SHCAM student. I was pre-registered to Tomorrow's Leaders, but because I did my research, I went and asked the GUR advisor if I could actually drop that and take Tango, because I actually read the subject syllabus for both of these classes, and honestly I found Tango more interesting compared to Tomorrow's Leaders. But don't get me wrong, these classes are actually both really boring, but that's really up to you to decide. I knew that I could take Tango, so I applied for it, but I was still thinking of whether or not I should take it, because I asked around about it. Some people were like, yeah, you can take Tango, but it was not really heard of, because we were pre-assigned to Tomorrow's Leaders, and like being freshmen, we just went with the flow. Not good, guys. I knew that I could take Tango, so I went and researched about it, asked around, and I had a friend who was roommates with someone who took Tango, and that roommate said it's better that I took Tomorrow's Leaders, because they said Tango was a bit boring, blah blah blah. But guys, after taking Tango and comparing to the things that I heard from my friends, I think Tango is a better option. Before I tell you why, let me tell you how I decided on Tango. So I studied the subject syllabus for both of the classes, and I was more interested with Tango, so I did more research on Tango and like just read all the stuff that I could on Tango. But I was still like, I wasn't really sure, because sometimes it can be just really persuasive and not really as what I expected it to be. So I kept praying and asking around, and I still couldn't make the decision, especially with the fact that my friend's roommate encouraged us to take Tomorrow's Leaders. But what really pushed me to take Tango was the timing. The timing of Tango was amazing compared to Tomorrow's Leaders. Why? Because first of all, Tomorrow's Leader is a 3-hour long seminar. Although it happens only once a week, it can get quite boring, especially with the fact that this class is an 8:30 a.m. class on a Monday morning. I don't want to wake up so early just to attend this 3-hour long lecture. And it takes like, what, an hour-ish for me to travel from home to school. If I have the option to sleep in, choose sleeping in, right? And Tango, on the other hand, was at 10:30 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. So that's why I was like, okay, let's just take Tango. And believe it or not, last year, my earliest class throughout year 1 was a 10:30 class. And the latest class was the Tango class, also 4:30. So it's just perfect timetable. So I took Tango, and seriously, I did not regret taking it, because after taking Tango and observing my friends and listening to the complaints that they have towards tomorrow's leaders, I think Tango is a better option. Because first of all, the timing. Although tomorrow's leaders is once in a week, but it's a 3-hour long early morning seminar, and the classes can get really boring. Like, I heard that the lecturer is known to be monotonous or highly energetic, but like it's forced in, so no one's actually interacting with her, which I really pity you. I'm so sorry, but like, yeah, I don't really know what assignments you have to do in tomorrow's leaders. You can actually check that in the syllabus, I think. But I know you can check the assignments for Tango in their syllabus. You only have 2 assignments to do for Tango. Whereas for tomorrow's leaders, I constantly hear people complain about the amount of work that they were given throughout tomorrow's leaders. And a lot of it sounded very unrealistic and unreasonable, and also not really something that's practical enough for you to practice to become a better leader. Because like I said, this component is a leadership component of the GUR, training you to be effective leaders. The assignments compared to Tango was less practical to become a better leader, so I found it a bit weird. Basically, they had to do research on a famous leader and then present it to the class, but in a form of a video. And they need to make not just one video, but multiple videos for the class. Like, how is this helping you to become a better leader? Are you guys training to be content creators or leaders? When I first was researching on this, I remember everyone telling me, oh, Tango has more workload compared to tomorrow's leaders, so take tomorrow's leaders because it's just a lot simpler. Excuse me? The students in my cohort, all who talked about tomorrow's leaders, they did not have a good impression towards tomorrow's leaders. And based on what I'm hearing, I feel like, oh, Tango stuff is more practical because we only have 2 assignments. One is an individual assignment, and the second one is a group work. Both of these assignments are actually rather interesting, and I find them very useful for me in the future as a leader. The first assignment required us to identify how to analyze a person's strengths and weaknesses, and later come up with a personal development plan of a specific individual on how they can overcome their weaknesses in order to better achieve their future goals. Which I think, wow, that's so cool. I mean, it's hard work, but also having this skill to know how to identify someone's weaknesses and strengths, and knowing how to help them maximize strengths and minimize their weaknesses in teamwork. I think that's something very useful in the future as a leader. I genuinely had fun doing this assignment, although it was last minute. Very psychological, but also very interesting. Very interesting. And the second one was the group work. So the group work was also very useful for me. It was to interview a practitioner and ask them what their thoughts were about a specific leadership trait, how this has helped them in their success of a leader in the corporate world, and their stories relating to that specific leadership trait. It was an eye-opener for me because I really got to understand the particular leadership trait and really know how to develop this skill so that I can use it in the future. This class also taught us a bit of tips of how to conduct an interview, what are some steps that you need to take to prepare, how to take notes in this interview, and how to present these findings properly, which I think is going to be very useful in the real world and even in your assignments in the future. Other people may think otherwise, but for me, I really liked it because it was just so practical, really training me to become a better leader. Looking back at this, I really think that Tango is more practical as compared to tomorrow's leaders, where you have to research a specific famous leader. I mean, I think anyone can do that. If you're really someone who's keen on wanting to develop your leadership skills, you didn't have to attend this class in order to know how to be a better leader. I'm just saying. So if you have a choice of which leadership classes you want to take, I hope that this video really helped you understand better. And during your subject registration, I just really hope that you make wise decisions and not regret the decisions that you make. One thing about Tango is that if you're not forced into it, and like I mentioned, you're most likely going to be registered into tomorrow's leaders. So if you choose Tango, I'm just gonna let you know that one thing that really bothered me was loneliness, because it was so hard to make friends there. The majority of them already had cliques because they're all from the same cohort and same department, and usually they're year 2 students. So making friends in that class was very difficult, and a lot of them didn't speak English. They just weren't comfortable speaking English. So it was quite lonely for me, but for some reason, God's been just so good, because even though I didn't really make friends, I somehow met a group of Malaysians and a student from mainland China who was willing to take me in as their group member, and I was just blessed with group mates who were willing to work together and make our presentation a good one. One thing about group work is that I know tomorrow's leaders had group work, but tomorrow's leaders would actually set a group for you. But Tango, you have the luxury of choosing your group mates. That's another reason for you to decide whether or not you should take Tango or tomorrow's leaders. And so that is all for today's video. If you guys made it all the way here, you guys are amazing. You guys are awesome, because I know not everyone stays all the way here. So you guys the real ones. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, or maybe subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. I'm gonna be making more videos on GUR subjects and life about PolyU and just life as a university student in Hong Kong. So if you're interested with that, don't forget to click the bell so that you know when the next video comes up. And as you can tell, this is just a small part of GUR subjects. There are 6 components that you need to fulfill for GUR. If you're interested and want to know when the next video comes out and want to know more about it, turn on the bell for notifications so that you know when those videos come up. So that is all that I have for you, and I'll see you in the next video. I don't know why I keep doing this.